It's 9 months since the Malaysia Airlines jet was blown out of the sky over Ukraine, killing all 298 people on board, including 38 Australians. 9 months of hamstrung official investigations, political grandstanding, and even fabricated evidence. 9 long months for the families of those killed, seemingly without hope of justice. Where was the missile fired from and who pressed the button? Those answers have proved elusive until now. We've finally reached Donetsk, the capital of the Russian separatist territory. Now, we set out to discover whether the Buk missile was here on the day MH17 was shot down. And sure enough, the trees have lost their leaves, but there's no doubt it's a match.
So this is one of the first images we had. We had this missile launcher on the back of this truck. It has a white cabin, this yellow sign on the side. This is the same transport vehicle we saw time and time again.
The photo was taken around 9:30 in the morning on July 17th last year, just 7 hours before the Malaysia Airlines plane is attacked. Two hours later, the missile launcher is seen again. It's in a town called Zurez, and the launcher is heading east further into rebel territory. We easily find the spot, but we've been sprung.
Не знаю, сказали хороший вид.
2 недели назад приезжал.
2 недели?
Да. Кто-то в ту сторону фотографировал, потом сюда.
Okay, let's go, man.
What did he say?
He sees no reasons for filming over here. Well, and I cannot explain what we are filming, actually.
What did he say he would do?
He would call the commander of the town.
To report us, or?
Yes, to check us. What the hell are we doing?
And just at that moment, a seemingly endless convoy of rebel armoured vehicles sweeps past us, heading west towards the front line. We're heading east, deep into rebel territory. Next stop is a town called Torres, where geolocation expert Elliot Higgins believes this photograph of the missile launcher was taken, still loaded on the same truck.
So we have this shop sign here, and that gave us this result, which was a court document that gave us the full address. So we could say the shop was here precisely, and this is a satellite map image of the shop.
Once again, there's no doubt. Buk 3X2 was here. It's now 12:30 p.m. Less than 4 hours until the attack on MH17. At Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, passengers are boarding the plane. One sends a video from his iPhone, the last images from inside the plane anyone will ever see.
One more time, we are on the final stages of our boarding and cargo loading.
Another passenger, 50-year-old Lillian Durden from Canberra, sends a last text to her daughter, Cassie.
She sent me a message saying, "Hi, sweetie, I'm boarding the plane, I'll see you tomorrow. Kiss, kiss." And I didn't write back because I was like, "I'll see you tomorrow. I'm being busy cleaning the house, so my house is not a mess when she gets there." And yeah, so that's the last I heard of her.
Back in Ukraine, we press on, following the trail deeper into rebel territory. You can see these track marks and where the heavy armoured vehicles have left their imprint on the road in this town. This is called Schnizye, and it's here where it starts getting serious. For the missile launcher to be battle ready, for it to launch its missiles, it has to be off the truck. So, it unloads. The crew take control, and the launcher is last seen under its own power heading south out of this town.
We've got the video of it heading south out of town. There's nothing out there but fields. So why would it be heading out of town for anything but, you know, being ready to fire?
We can track where the missile launcher goes now because when it fires, it will leave a telltale trail of smoke, photographed by a witness and posted on Twitter just 3 hours later. Elliot Higgins and several other analysts used the photo to pinpoint the source of the smoke trail, first finding identifiable landmarks which they match with satellite imagery, then inserting the skyline of the photo. The blue lines represent the frame of the picture. The red line points to the base of the smoke trail.
We can see where the smoke is coming from, and it just points directly at that field.
As we near the field, we pass the telltale signs of an abandoned guard post. We're on the right track. This is it. This is the field where the missile was launched. The burn marks on the ground have been erased by winter and ploughing. But this is where the missile launcher rolled along here, came to a stop, locked on its target, the Malaysian Airlines jet, and fired. The passengers aboard MH17 probably never knew what hit them. The impact of the Buck missile would have been immediate and devastating. Would a Buck missile cause this sort of damage and the damage that we're seeing on the Malaysian Airlines jet?
Yes, it would look something like this. Craters, you've got holes here.
In his crash investigation lab in England, renowned ballistics expert Professor Ian Horsfall has studied the pattern of damage inflicted on MH17. Shrapnel marks clearly evident when we filmed the wreckage at the crash site.
I would suspect that the warhead went off maybe 10 metres from the aircraft. What it throws out is a flat disc of fragments that the aircraft flies through.
If it was, as the Russians have suggested, a fighter jet attacking that passenger aircraft, what would the damage look like?
Well, in that case, we'd have something that would look something more like that. So that's a panel that's been hit by projectiles of this sort of size.
No wonder the damage doesn't match. That extraordinary satellite picture produced by the Russian media of a fighter jet attacking the airliner is in fact a crude fake, stitched together from Google Earth images and not even featuring the right planes. So, with that theory in tatters, the Russians have cobbled together another explanation. If it was a Buck missile, then it was launched by the Ukrainian army, not by the Russian-backed rebels. And here, say Russia's top generals, is the proof. Home video of the Buck, taken in a town occupied by the Ukrainian government.
These pictures were done in the city of Krasnoarmeysk. That is confirmed by a banner that is situated close to the road.
But that's not true. Our geolocation experts have tracked down landmarks indicating the video was shot nearly 200 kilometres from the government-held town named by the Russians. So there's a bit of a rise, which is here.
Right, 350.
Should be on the other side of this.
300.
This is it here. Well, the Russians are lying, and here's the proof. We found the billboard in the video, and it's here in the city of Luhansk, right in the middle of separatist-held territory. The missile launcher is headed down the road toward the Russian border. The crew is just hours from home. That image is extremely crucial because it also shows, doesn't it, one missile missing.
That's correct. I'm pretty certain that didn't fall off on the road somewhere. That's been launched.
So, a Russian missile launcher from Russia's 53rd Air Defence Brigade returns to its base inside Russia. It is unbelievable to think that that missile launcher on that day was manned and crewed by armed peasant farmers.
I think it's very likely that it would have been operated by Russian soldiers. It just doesn't seem likely that they would have, driven it up to the border, dropped it off. Here's the keys, off you go. Just press that button to launch it. It just doesn't make sense.
The evidence proves that a Russian missile shot down a defenceless passenger plane with 38 Australians on board. The ultimate responsibility lies not with the young soldiers who fired the weapon, but with the man who put them there. A man who will almost certainly never be held to account for the crime.